So a few nights ago, I went and saw Tron Ares. And I gotta be honest, in the wake of that, I don't think that I have ever been as confused about something in my entire life as I am about this movie. Maybe not so much the movie itself, but actually some of the response to the movie afterwards. More specifically, the sheer number of people who seem to be pulling out all stops to convince everybody else that this is a good movie. This movie is a few different things, but the one thing that it is not is a good movie. I try not to ever say that about a movie, because honestly, I kind of think that I do honestly believe that art is subjective, and that a movie that maybe one person didn't like, another person's going to like, and most of the time, I just kind of focus on whether or not I liked the movie. And obviously, from the sounds of it, I did not like the movie. But this is kind of a rare case where I can look at a movie and I can say that it's objectively bad. I don't think that it's objectively bad for some of the other reasons that other people are saying that it's objectively bad. There are a lot of people that are saying that this movie is objectively bad just because it has Jared Leto in it. I don't think that at all. Actually, I think that Jared Leto is a fantastic actor. I don't think that I've ever seen a movie that he's been in where I would say that he's put in like a bad performance. I think there have been a few movies that I've seen him in where you could say that he's, put in a good performance on some pretty poorly written material. I mean, Alexander, I actually really wanted to like Alexander when it came out. Alexander has its merits. It's got redeeming qualities. It was not a good movie, but Jared Leto's performance in that was really good. He was amazing in Lord of War. He was absolutely outstanding. As like the little brother character who gets sucked into that life of being an arms dealer and basically gets completely destroyed by it. He was amazing in that movie. Okay, Morbius. Oh God. Okay, well that's another one there. I mean, that was objectively a bad movie. And to be honest with you, it's one of those movies where I was just so distressed, for lack of any better phrase, distressed. I was distressed by what I was seeing on screen and how bad it was, and just how unnecessarily bad it was. Because not only was it not necessary for that movie to be bad, it was not at all necessary for that movie to exist. I mean, he's like a tertiary character in Marvel Comics. He's not Spider-Man. He's not even really one of Spider-Man's enemies. He's like one of this character who's kind of like frequently in conflict with Spider-Man, but not nearly important enough to have his own movie, which is also the same is true of Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter really should not have had his own movie. But anyway, listen, this is all wow. I'm really getting way out there. But it kind of does bring me back to one point that I do want to take care to make sure that I do make. And that is that I'm also not one of these people that just wants to see a Disney property fail. If it was up to me, I would have much preferred to see Tron Ares be a good movie. Because I like the Tron franchise. Tron Legacy, Tron Legacy is one of my favorite movies. And if they could have gotten Joseph Kosinski to direct Tron Legacy, I mean, just look at what he did with Top Gun Maverick. Look at what he did with F1. They could have figured out a way to work that into the schedule so that Kosinski could have been involved in the writing and the directing of this film. Like, it would have been such a better film. And I did want better for this franchise. And I'm not personally hostile to Disney the way that a lot of people are. But with all of those things in mind, I'm like, that's just not enough to pretend that this is a good movie. Like, it's bad. Like, it's very bad. I mean, it doesn't even come close to hitting the obvious mark, of our moment, of our civilizational moment. Let's face it, we are currently at a moment where artificial intelligence is more involved in our lives than it ever has been before. We actually have access to artificial intelligence Pretty much any moment of the day, AI is creating art. In some cases, people are using it to create, like, try to use it to create the news, and you wind up with some really comically inaccurate news reports that people are trying to pass around, that they basically concocted with AI. So there is that, and a lot of these things frequently they look, and they can look and sound authentic. And so that's the moment that we're in right now, where AI is only going to come into our lives more and more and more. And so this was a great moment for Disney to use this franchise, to make a movie that can make a statement about AI. And instead, we got a movie that was really not about at all, like like, for example, like the ethics of AI. This was not actually a movie that was about AI at all. This was at best a movie that was about 3D printing. I mean, and if you doubt what I just said, I mean, listen, watch the movie and then think about it afterwards, and then tell me if you think that I'm wrong. This wasn't a movie really about AI. This was a movie about 3D printing. Good God, talk about missing the mark. The only thing that was actually good about this movie, there were two things that are very good about this movie. One is the soundtrack. By Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor did the entire score of the film. It's outstanding. It's outstanding in the way that something created by Trent Reznor can only be. And so there's that. And then on the other hand, there was the cinematography. Some of the camera shots that they came up with, and combined with the digital effects, are absolutely some of the ways they kind of present things, like in this film, is absolutely outstanding. I could actually foresee this movie taking home an Oscar for best cinematography. And if not for the best cinematography, then for the best digital effects, because good God, did they ever blow that one out of the park. But the problem with this movie is that it just does not have a story for these two things to support. I mean, yeah, 3D printing looks kind of cool. We didn't need a movie about it. We didn't need a movie about it, but I think that arguably this would be a very good time for one about AI. So let's get back to what I actually really want to talk about here, and it's the sheer amount of the gaslighting that a lot of people are trying to use to try to convince people that this movie is not abysmal. This movie is literally abysmal. So what do I mean when I say literally abysmal? In Jewish theology, or mythology, or however you want to prefer it, the abyss is actually just not a place of just like emptiness. It's actually like a place of creation. And so you kind of look at like the amount of potential that this franchise has, and so it's a failure to appropriately create. Certainly a failure to appropriately create for the needs of the civilizational moment. And so you got a lot of people are out there screaming at people just over and over again, ignore the critics, it's a great movie. We need you to go and see this movie so that there could be a Tron 4. And after seeing Tron Ares, I have to be honest with you. I can't imagine why I would want to see a Tron 4 after having seen Tron 3. That's how bad this movie is. Like, it's taken a franchise that I very much want to see succeed, and pretty much just like just done something with it that it's like, okay, we don't need this again. We don't need this again. We can do something else. To capture this moment in history. We don't need another Tron movie ever again. And just the scope of just the naivete of this, right? So there are even some people that come out and saying it's like, oh, well, it's not the best movie, but I like it, and I'd really like people to go and see it so that they'll make another Tron movie. And so You're kind of asking people to go out and sit through 2 hours of bad cinema just so that maybe a few years down the road we get another movie that might be every bit as bad as this one. So you are literally asking people to to subject themselves to bad cinema. And all you're offering in return is the promise of probably 2 more hours of bad cinema. Because I think that's what you're going to get if you go and support this movie. Like if you actually go out and spend your hard-earned money, to go and sit in the movie theater and watch this piece of crap for 2 hours, I think that's going to reward, like Disney is going to accept that as the people who created this, rather I should say. Like the creative team behind this lump are going to interpret that as a reward for having produced this abysmally horrible movie. And I think that we're going to get another abysmally horror movie. Like another abysmally bad movie. With no compelling story. That doesn't even really understand, the crux of this moment in history. Probably with more bad actors, because I gotta say, this female lead in this movie, Greta Lee, I haven't seen Greta Lee in anything else ever. I can't think of anything else that I've seen that she's been in. So I don't know if she is like regularly this bad an actor, or if she just kind of read the script and realized that this was this was bad, and decided that she was going to phone it in on account of how bad this script was. That's a possibility. So maybe Greta Lee is not actually a bad actor. Maybe she's a good actor that just, performed up to the level of the material that she was being given. That's entirely a possibility. But I can't stress this enough. Like, these people that are asking you to distrust the film critics on this occasion, previously film critics have gotten movies, in my opinion, pretty wrong. This time, they've got it fucking dead on, like perfect, like exactly right. Like, don't ignore them. You need to ignore the people that are asking you to ignore the critics. Like, don't reward this gaslighting behavior. And what exactly is it that's motivating this gaslighting behavior in the first place? Well, geez, I hate to say it, but you know what? Disney has become, it has become a company that's become notorious for actually, like, buying off, the people that might comment on on a lot of their products, right? Apparently this is especially true of, like, the theme parks. Like, they will actually give, like, I guess for any lack of a better phrase, people who are influencers, they'll actually give them, like, free passes to the parks, special access to all of the features in the parks. There's even talk about, like, free cupcakes if you say and do all of the things that please Disney, and what really seems to please Disney in this particular, in this context, is that you say and do things that basically, help them market their product. And so in this instance, it's like, I guess if you're trying to get on this free stuff gravy train that Disney has rolled out, I guess now, you jump on your Twitter account. I'm never calling it X. Like, never, ever. It's not ever going to happen. So maybe you jump on your Twitter account and you run around saying, oh, ignore all of the critics, this movie's great, even though you know it's not great. And I just have a hard time believing that anybody could not know that this movie is not great. Definitely not perfect. When somebody says it's a perfect film, like, to me, that is a red flag. That person is a shill. That person is definitely, like, they've been bought, they're on the take. There's no doubt in my mind. Oh, it's a perfect movie. Fuck off. No. So in any event, I can't stress it enough. Do not reward this gaslighting. I'm going to warn you right now. If you go to see Tron Ares, I think you are not going to be happy with what you experience. The one and only thing that I can say about it that's going to be any good is that you're going to see some cool visuals, with nothing behind them to really make them mean anything. And you're going to hear some great music on some very big speakers. Like, I won't lie to you, that arguably could be a reason to go. Just to hear the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack on the biggest speakers that you can find. That could be arguable. You make up your mind about that. But I just don't think that this is a film that deserves it. And I think that the people who are behind this gaslighting, I don't think that they deserve it either.